Okay, so I'm going to go over some important things that I think are important when you are playing on Circuit Royale. I've already played through some of this. I'm going to be pausing and resuming the recording, so bear with it in case it skips a little bit. But I'm going to start off with a couple of things off the start here. When you're playing the Sigma, there's a couple of important breakpoints that you need to know here when you're holding angles, right? You're going to start off playing on high ground, but I don't think that's the right call because you're giving up too much space and it allows for the other team to flank around immediately. What I would much prefer, is when you're coming out of the gate, I think it is a lot stronger for you to have two main positions. I think that first you are going to put your Sig right here, and you're going to put your Hanzo and potentially your Widowmaker up here. They're going to look for early picks off of the start. You're only going to do this for a couple of seconds, like literally maybe 5 seconds, whatever, and then you're going to rotate back. The next breakpoint that you're going to want to hold is right here on Sig is very strong. This is also okay, but I really much prefer this angle here because this exposes you to a lot less. And I think realistically, your Sig should be holding on car here because it also provides some level of natural cover. And then you can have your DPS station up here and to some extent within there to continue poking after they rotate from high ground. Once you lose this, right, once the enemy team starts to walk around the corner, right, they start to poke. That's when your Sig, I like to drop back here. I also see a world where you rotate up a little bit earlier and you give up car very quickly. But car is a very, very strong place to hold because this absolutely locks down everywhere that the other team can go. When you're standing here and you're holding your shield here, they don't have the option to rotate onto you, and they don't have the option, if you're standing up here, they don't have the option to attempt to walk under you or meet you and split you. In this scenario, I much prefer holding on a car because car is a very strong place. Again, there's not much where they can go, and there's a linear regression, or not a regression, there's a linear place for you to back up to because you can back around the corner, and then there's immediately natural cover and provides even longer sight lines for your DPS.
Ready for battle. 5.
So, so the main issue that I have here is when you're playing back far on this, all the way on this back height with your DPS, you're giving up a lot of potential sight lines, right? Because when you're standing here, you're limited to pretty much only this angle of view, right? You're not able to see around the corner. But when you potentially start at this, when you start further up, you're standing up here, even just, again, just briefly, you can see your Widow just even on this corner right here. This opens up the opportunity for you to pick off a rip and just make it a lot stronger for you when you're fighting. And it also lets you stall for longer, which obviously is going to be a lot stronger. And it's the same thing when you put your Sig here, or even you don't even have to put your Sig here. You can send a shield up here and then have it shielding your Widow when you're standing up here, and she'll be staring at them through a shield, and you can buy more time and potentially not have to use a grapple to get out.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Yeah, I like that, but I think you can, if you have more of your team up there, it's a little bit better. Again, part of the reason why I like holding here is because they're going to be able, when you're back here, they're going to be able to take pretty much this entire area all the way for free. However, if you stand instead over near here, or even off of here, you're immediately able to deny a lot more space off the start, right? Because you can just see visually, they have half the space that they would easily be able to get for free. And if you're even over here, right, you're able to contest more of them by shooting down here, as opposed to you're now limiting yourself because there's such a tight sight line here, right? They're still past here. They're basically safe because you're not going to have the angles, and your DPS are always going to be a threat here to drop back. And all of a sudden, you're now limited to just this area where you're able to control, as opposed to potentially being able to poke them out from here. Okay, I don't know if I just accidentally didn't talk about that at all, but whatever. What I was just talking about is part of the reason why I like you being able to control up here is because this opens the opportunity for you to contest this kind of area, right? This prevents them from just going up onto the high ground for free. And it's the same reason why I think that standing here is a little bit stronger because it opens up more of an angle for you to contest, right? Because when you're standing all the way back here, you're not able to see as much, in my opinion, because they're not really going to be, after a certain point, they're not going to be playing back here. They're all going to be moving, and instead, area where they're going to be shooting at you from is over here. So I like the fact that you're able to stand here and contest a little bit more. And while I agree that high ground is a safe place, I think that it's a lot stronger for you to play here and then onto car. All right. I hope it got recorded. Maybe this is the third time I'm saying this, but I think that up here, this is a lot of a harder place to hold, because when you're holding up here, they're going to get this entire area basically for free. That allows them to open up stuff, like they're able to rotate their DPS up to high ground very, very easily. But I think that if you hold here initially, it allows you to deny a little bit more space, because you can also turn the corner and poke them a little bit more. And also, when you drop back, you are now given the option to either go height or you can go to car. I personally really like car, and then you keep your DPS on high ground here and you keep poking while you are still able to maintain car, because part of the thing that's good about car here is you're able to deny a lot of the rotational options, right? When you're at car, really the only thing they can do is walk at you, or they can try to walk around you. However, when you're standing on height, they have an option, right? They can try to walk past you, under you, or they can even try to take you head on, or they can keep poking you out, which is still an option with the first one, but I think it's a little bit stronger if you take car, and then you let your DPS, and you have a little bit more faith in your healers. Car also is a little bit more natural, so you can keep your DPS up here for a little bit longer, rather than having to risk them having to drop around the corner, and now you lose a lot more space control. So this is almost a perfect example of what I was talking about. Almost, not quite a perfect example, right? But if you see here, this is kind of a goofy play from the Junkrat. If you had standed here, and you had tried to maintain control of this space, this junk is not able to stand here at all. Because he's going to drop, he's going to get out a little bit easier. Never mind, I lied, I forgot what happened. Cut the recording. Holy balls. So you see here, one of the issues that is presented when you're standing on height is that you're immediately contested, right? Because they're going to come up height. And when you're poked out here on height, because you're very, very vulnerable, you're going to have to drop back. When you have to drop back, there's no longer any contestation here. You immediately have to give. They're not going to be able to control this whole area for free. So this is part of why I think that holding car and dropping back here is a much safer option, and also allows you to play more aggressively if you wanted to. Okay, right here, this is very, very difficult. This is almost impossible for you to retake, especially for 3 people. In this scenario, all of you should be backed completely. You should be playing back up here, looking for pokes, looking for picks. That's your best bet. Anywhere down here is really no need for you to contest that, because they're just going to try to walk in you, and you're probably not going to get anything out of it. All right, this contest is fine here, but please keep in mind whenever you're contesting, there's always, you're playing for angles, right? So what do you want? Where do you want to play in order to facilitate your DPS standing back here, back here? The answer is right about here, right? This is the strength. This is the strongest area you're going to be able to play in. This is really the big danger zone, because if you have your DPS up here, they're going to be able to poke out for free. And also this kind of gives you a little bit more of an option if you're one of your DPS playing, so you can have them up height and they get a pick, or potentially they swing wide and also get a pick here. This is just, you're giving them a little bit too much space when you back around this corner here, and you're restricting the places where your DPS are really going to be able to fight and contest the other team. So again, really here, I know the Echo is going to be really, really annoying, but when you have with DPS specifically, when you drop past back here, it restricts you very heavily, right? Because now you're no longer able to contest. Let me move it real quick. There's a let's look at it vertically. It makes a little bit more sense vertically, right? When you are standing back here, you're limited pretty heavily, because you're only going to be able to look straight down. Really, there's no getting around it. There's no flexibility. But when you're standing on height here, if you maintain height control, you have a lot more options. This is a much more aggressive thing because you're controlling way more space outright. Because you're controlling more space. This is the entire basically kill zone that your DPS is going to have, and you're able to put your tank all the way up here. You can hold this area very, very effectively because your tank's going to be sitting in the middle of basically everywhere where your help is going to be. So I highly, highly would recommend that you consider playing this instead of playing this long angle here, because this is just less area that you're going to be able to control and deny. And a lot about the Sigma comp is controlling space, right? Because Sig isn't really good at taking space, but is really good at giving space. So you have to maintain control and not give it. But a lot of it is you have to have your DPS able to deny area effectively. See, this is a really awkward position because you're not able your tank, you're not really able to contest this area, which is a very strong place, because your healers can only see down this far.
The payload
All right.
has reached the checkpoint.
So we're going to consider this next point, right? Where is the first place that you're going to be trying to contest? Obviously, it makes a lot of sense to try to hold here, but you have to fight your way down, and the other team is going to walk up, and they're going to take space. They're going to flank around, go wide, go under.
What are you
etc.
doing, ho? Are you fucking practicing your VOD review lines?
No, I'm actually recording a VOD. Lol face.
Why?
Because I said
Can
I
hear
would.
me?
Yes.
What's up, fuckers?
Anyways, so we're going to wait here in a second, and you're going to have your whole team regroup, and it's going to be kind of annoying, and you're going to have to wait a little bit. Tiny bits. Oh, that was a little bit too much. A wee bit too much. Okay, so this is really good here. You're forcing out the other tank here. It's unfortunate that Frost gets picked off, but this is really good because really you need to get back in control of this area. This is your safe area. This is where you want to be playing, and you want to clear them out of here because then that unlocks the area, this place, which is the absolute strongest place, and this is where you usually get Omega held, right? This is a good slow play. That's well done. They're going to rotate off. Okay. This, you have to be very careful. This is very, very difficult, especially once they get out. This is not really a great place for them to go because you're going to know it's going to be super, super telegraphed, right? What you need to do is you need to immediately shift your back to here. This is like golden zone. This is where you need to be because if they try to walk, they can't walk around here without you seeing them. They can't walk under without you seeing them. Same thing here. All right. See, the problem here is you are much too deep, so you don't have the ability to really stare them down, right? Because you can only see so little. You really need to be a little bit further up here. All right. Immediately now, your target has shifted because you've lost this area and you're no longer able to fight down this long sight lane that you really want to play around. So your next thing is you need to be playing around here. This is really good because this is a lot of natural cover, and you want to be playing your SIG right around here, and then you want to have the rest of your DPS positioned back here and poking away. And this also prevents the option of them just trying to flank you because you should be able to see them coming from there. So this is just a little bit too aggressive. You really never want to be on this side of the payload. There is no side that is really good here. Well, I'll skip forward in a second, but that's a really, really dangerous place to be because you're going to cut yourself off from a lot of angles from being able to see. Because one of the things that your team is going to be able to do is they're going to be able to hold right here. They're also going to be able to hold here. But when you're standing here, this is a lot harder for them to support you from. And then this angle is no longer a unified angle because you're not looking at it, right? You want your team to be able to shoot here, and you want to be able to shoot here. You want to be able to focus fire it. But if you're standing here, it's a lot harder for you to have a unified angle looking down here. Unfortunate rock. So this is emergency scrambling time, right? So immediately your idea should be, where do we need to be right now in order to not die? Because you're down a person who's coming from spawn, and your tank is severely out of position. So you need to know where you're going. And immediately you should be saying, okay, do we drop full back? Do we try to hold here? Do we try to salvage a fight? But right now you're showing me split. There's a person here and there's a person here. There's a person here. So you need to really be unified and say, okay, where are we going right now? What is the fight lost? If the fight is lost, why is the fight lost? And where do we need to go next? Good try on the recovery. Be careful. This right now. So when you are going for this angle, right, for this right hand angle, right, this is a little, you're holding this a little bit for too long. I think you need to play it safer and rotate back here because that gives you now the potential to have had an orb on John for a little bit longer. In this situation, you're not realistically, I don't think, going to get a kill. So I think it's safer for you to play for position and instead back off. It's very unfortunate. That's just kind of how it is. And then you're not able to really get it a second. So we're going to talk about, right, we're going to consider what was the problem here and why weren't you able to get a good soft fight? The problem is you get picked and you need to play safe, right? What you really need to do is you need to play safe in order to target here. So what that means is you need to be playing as a unit, clearing angles. And then once you've cleared those angles, you need to hold those angles. That's really the goal. And you just really, you have to give up space in order to retake it together as a group, because you're not going to be able to 4v5 against a Sigma comp. Same thing here. You just need to wait. Just have some level of patience. All rotate to take one angle together. Okay. This is good that you're all working you're all working the angle together. And you're able to push them out. You get a good kill. Good rock. They waste. That's a little unfortunate. Yeah. You guys just you spend too long hesitating here, and this is what's really the downfall, is they're able to capitalize off of it. Right here, you should all be on the ground already. There's no real reason, right? There's nothing preventing you from all being down there. You're 4v5, you can walk in, you have an ult. You should dragon, you should drop, you should go inside of them and kill them. There is no benefit for you holding this high angle the whole time, because it just opens up the option for them to try to kill you, or they should swing wide. You want to be further up. But this is too back, and they're able to capitalize off of it. I like the Widow flank idea. Kind of just doesn't work. Good recovery, but really is the thing that needs to happen is you need to drop faster. If you drop faster there, you don't have to deal with this awkward comp switch, and you don't have to deal with the pulse usage. Switch comms. Okay. Again, this is kind of the thing, right? What are you doing? What does this angle accomplish on your comp? I'm going to give you a hint, and you're not going to like the answer. The answer is it really doesn't do anything. When you are standing here, you are limiting so much space. You're giving them the absolute freedom of choice to do what you want. You're playing the Doomfist. You want the engage, but how do you want the engage? Do you want the engage to be on your terms, or do you want the engage to be on their terms? That's a trick question. You want the engage to be on your terms. So what you want to be doing is you need to be playing further up, right? You're playing here, or playing here, and it cuts off their options because right now they can do whatever they want. They can come height, they can rotate, they can go around and then come up. They can go here, they can go under, right? You don't want to be able to give them that option. You want to be playing further up in order to cut them off from anywhere they want to go, right? You're playing up here, all of a sudden, there's only really 3 options for them, right? They come straight at you, they come left at you, or they come right at you. So you need to be controlling more space, pretty much as the entire thing as a team. Help me! Help me! Help me! Right? See, this is the whole thing. You don't need to be playing this far back and letting them poke at you because you're trying to play this engage. You're trying to get your tracer the value. You want them to funnel where it is opportune for your tracer to be flanking and where your widow is already prepared to line up shots. This is just too much. This is too much freedom of choice for them, and it's going to be very, very hard to generate value at all here.
Yeah, this is pretty basic stuff, guys.
Again, another problem here is that the card is really far down, and now you're limiting a lot of the place where your widow is going to be able to fight. Because now, if your widow, right, say right now, was all the way back here, it would be a much stronger position because you're able to see a lot more of their team. And where you're playing right now, it's really, really difficult. Same thing with the Kiriko. You're kind of only really able to see one person, and then your Lucio is going to be dealing with whatever is happening on point, which is not going to end up well. Case in point. Right? They get their option. They just choose to drop and walk on a point because you gave them the choice to just drop and walk on a point, and they could just do so without a fight because they're playing too far back and you don't have time to engage in them.
Video game.
Okay, so we're going to look at the attack here. There's going to be a couple of things that we're going to consider, right? Do you see where their SIG is standing? Not quite where I said you should take a little bit more of a longer angle, but
Good night, Tronco.
you see where the car is. Yeah, see, the SIG is standing on car because it gives him the opportunity to back up where he wants. And it's very hard for you to rotate around. It buys a lot more time for the DPS to poke it land. And it's perfectly safe because the SIG can just back off. And I lied. It should have been safe. That was a misplay on their part. Well done, at least. But that's a very strong place to be if you're able to execute it. Good play here, though. Good recovery if they're losing off pick, but this works anyways. Okay. So it's the same thing, right? This is actually, I think you're playing this pretty well, but you need to consider, again, how far up can you reasonably consider before they're going to have an angle on you, right? Right now, they're all sitting here. You can kind of ignore him to some extent, but right now, this is the danger zone. Everywhere else should be free. So your DPS, you should be coming wider here. You have the space to do it. You should be taking these longer angles just because you can. Let your SIG flush the junk out, right? It works exactly like you want because you're able to take the long angle and get a poke. Anderson, in this scenario, consider playing, honestly, a little bit more aggressive. You have the room. Same thing with you, Jade. Consider fighting up here. Jade, you come up a little bit further here. Anderson, consider taking height here. It's a decent flank. Scott, right now, realistically, you should be up here. This is much too far back. You need to be playing a lot further up because there's a lot of space you can be denying right now. Yeah, you got picked off. Unfortunate. Hanzo character. All right. You're on the back foot. You've disengaged about well. What is your game plan again, right? Where are you going to send your team? What are good angles? And how are you going to have your fight? Again, they're probably going to reset to up to car here, set their DPS up here, set their healers up back here, maybe another here, right? So where are you going to fight? Strong angle. What do you want to do? Do you want to flush the SIG out here, or do you want to try to take height? You need to know. Do you want to have your DPS up here? Yes. Trick question. All right. Right now. Holy Jeebus, what is this? Right? They're giving you so much options. They're giving you the freedom of choice. Take it. Go up. Take the height. Don't let them have it for free. Right? Just go up. Take the height. Now up here, all of a sudden you have more options, right? As opposed to your, oh, well, we have to walk into you. No, go height. Take it. There's no contesting it right now. You can take height. Okay. Next thing, I want you to consider why you're working this angle specifically, right? What angle does this give you as opposed to this gives you, right? It's a little bit more. And also, you can make an argument it's a little bit safer because you have this right here. Take this height here. This height is very, very good for you to start off as an engage because, again, freedom of choice. Now, you can use the drop forward, use the drop back, and now you're back here again. But you can't go from down here to up here. You have the choice to do so if you're already up here. Good block. All right, let's look at why this fight falls apart. Right now, there is a misalignment of where your team wants to be. Your Hanzo is very far back and is not able to generate any value. Again, this height, very, very strong because it gives you the option. You can now run up here, or you could drop back a little bit more in case you're getting poked out. This is a very weak place to be because even as the healers, you could be up here and still poking a little bit. Although I realize that Zen is the exception here. This is a good spot if you're not isolated. If you get peel there, it works better, but there's no way for your team to peel for you, so it ends up being a bad spot. You guys need to be controlling height. To be honest, like, especially you, Scomo, Mr. Nathan, there's no reason for you to not be on height because you have the ability to drop instantly or go back up. All right. You're going to get you got to pick here. You're going to restabilize. All right. You traded alt for alt. You're down an ammo, but what do you need to do now? I'm going to give you a hint. It's play it a little bit slower. Just come back here, stabilize, right? That's all you need to do. Come back here, stabilize. Your team is going to come back just as fast. You have the Widow. You have the option to do something funny over the edge, right? Whatever. Don't take this. There's nothing comes good from swinging this wide. Play safe, play slow when you are down here. You are down on utility, right? You are low on your DPS is low on health and has a worse angle than you do. You don't have MO. So you're less on resources and you're less on health. You need to back off a little bit here. All right. This is fine, but now they ended up backing off, but they could have honestly walked into you and they could have steamrolled you. Why are you going wide here? Consider it, right? What is your reasoning for going wide here? Are you generating more value going wide because you're flushing somebody out? Are you generating more value going wide because this angle is more beneficial to you than this angle is? No. Just walk up straight. Take the space. Take it fast. Be confident in it. Good. You could have had that space earlier, and they would have been in a better position. Same thing, Scott. Even Jade. You guys need to be wider here. This is a super tight angle that just doesn't get you very much value. Right. John's pushed out here because there's just not enough pressure going down here. You need to have more pressure here because all of a sudden, consider right here, right? All of a sudden, if they window back here to try to push you back, that window is a lot less scary because now you have the option to drop back a little bit here. But if you're already playing from, say, here, right? Where's your option? Where do you go? You have to go so much further back, and they're going to just melt you through the window. And now you get poked out. Yep. See, that window generates a lot of value because you're not really able to counter it. Now you've also had to invest a Zen ult. Yeah. It's kind of this like all of your angles are getting mismatched is the problem here. You aren't considering why are you splitting the angles? Right, John? This is I'm just gonna be honest, this is too aggressive. This is just too much. You can't be on this other side. All right. I want you to consider there is a invisible wall. Invisible wall. You need to be on the left side of the wall. Because all of the angles you're going to fight on, the left side of the wall is more favorable. There is almost no reason why you should ever be on the right side of the wall, especially as the tank. If you're DPS, the story is different, but you always, right? The same thing up here. You need to consider this invisible wall and why your invisible wall is there. Because if you try to drop back, right, this is no longer a viable escape plan. This seems fine, but now nobody can see you. Nate can't heal you. And now there's this other mismatch, right? You're fighting this right here, which is blocked by payload. Anderson can't help you. Only your healers can really help you, but Nate is forced to take this awkward angle here to help keep you up, and now can't see Anderson anymore, and now can't see Jade anymore, so now he's cut off, right? As opposed to if Nate's back here and you're back here, oh, well, Nate can see you, they can see him, you can see him, your DPS can see you, your other healer can also see you, etc., right? But there's a disconnect here. This is the disconnect. You need to be able to unify your sightlines. I know it's a stupid thing that I keep saying, but there's no unity here, right? You need to unify them. They need to be together for a reason. Poke comps work like that for a reason. So what I'm saying instead is a good idea, like I just mentioned, right? You could put Anderson here up to here. It doesn't quite matter. Or you can even put him here. Same thing with Jade. You could be back here. Nate, you can be here. John, you can be here. Scott, in this scenario, you want to be up here, anywhere here. But again, it's the whole thing where you all need to be working the angles together. You need to work your angles and clear angles. And then once you've cleared your angles and worked all the angles out, then you now get to pick where you're fighting, right? Because this is now your kill corridor now becomes here. This becomes where you just kill them for free because you're all looking ideally, right? But right now, there's nowhere dangerous. There is nowhere that's explicitly dangerous for them to be, because the only real unified, scary sightline is right down here. But that's so little of the available space to fight in. Yeah, right here. You should play to die fast. It's really unfortunate, but that's.
60 seconds remaining.
All right, this is kind of again, right? You guys need to be playing height. This is going to be really awkward coming out here because you're only going to see here. Anderson's probably going to go up here, maybe Scott too, but now you can't see up here, right? Unity. You are a team and you have to play like one. All right. I would rather you do this because all 5 of you are looking at the same place. Okay, Nate. Reverse this. Put down your thing here. Put down lamp first, and then shift once they come back down into the lamp, because your shift here generates 1,000,000 times more value than it would have prior. Right. What does that do? They're going to come down into the lamp. It's not really going to do anything, right? What does it do now? Funk, 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 funk. Right. If you have the time to, use lamp first. Because I'm going to be honest, if you had shifted after lamp, I think you could have lived that, and this is a winnable fight, to be quite honest. I'm not trying to rag on you, but yeah. All right, good call out on the junk. Really good call out. Again, all right, invisible wall. What does being on this bottom side of the wall do that you being here doesn't do? It lets you die better. What you're doing here, you can do just as effectively here, right? This is a more risky spot for no reason, but you see the exact same thing. Good call out on holding that until trans ends because you're able to do that. All right. This is again, right? What are you going to do here to win the fight? You got to get the picks. You got to kill something, right? Work together on the sight lines. Again, right? You're so focused here. They're not going to be able to really turn as easily. Work together. I know you're going to win this fight because I can see how long the map goes for, but work angles together. Again, I want you to just I don't want to rag on anybody super hard, but just invisible wall, right? Why be on wall X when you can be on wall A? What does wall X do? Always consider that, especially when you're playing poke against poke.
The payload has reached
All right.
the checkpoint.
You have now won this. What is your immediate goal? I'll tell you, your goal is to not get camped from here. So what do you do to avoid getting camped from here? You take space. You take however much of it. If you remember what they do, they just send the SIG, just solitary SIG, walk up, put the Hondo back here, you just poke a little bit, and now the SIG backs off. And by the time this comes around the corner and the rest of your team is back, you can fight from here instead and not have to fight from here and work your way out. All right, good call out. Honestly, this works. Okay, you did what I wanted you to do. That's fine. Right now, you need to back off. You do exactly that. Although I think you can call it a little bit earlier, because now your fighting is here. This is your strong angle because they're not going to be able to walk out free.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
All right, right here you need to stabilize. Your team is low. Your Nathan is about to die. Stabilize, right? Drop back to here if you have to. Drop back into here if you have to. Just stabilize. You need to become back stable again because they're going to come back and they're going to try to kill you. And good call up. All right. Kind of the opposite thing here. This is okay, but again, consider like even now you Jade, you're going to be important on this one. Is why are you on side? Why are you on this side versus this side? What benefit are you getting from it? And this is kind of a subconscious thing you have to be thinking about. And I know it's going to be really hard in the middle of the game. Okay. 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 If you can, try to call out if you have lamp or not, or shift. I think that would have been livable with lamp and shift instead of investing. Instead of investing a transit there. I see Anderson's going to die there. That's very unfortunate. All right, this is honestly, I'm going to be honest, this is decently well done. This is a good fighting spot. This is a good fighting spot. You're playing this well. DPS, play it a little bit safer. Maybe play back here. Scott, you can maybe jump this angle if you want, but this is a little aggressive here. This is a little too exposed. I would say play back here. Okay. Nate, I want you to consider what you're doing with this window here. I know you're trying to make up for Anderson not working, but I really want you to consider what this window is going to accomplish. Are they in position for you to easily kill them when you window here? In my opinion, no. Because they're going to be able to just hide back here, rotate off, right? I don't really think this window really does anything, as opposed to if you do it here, it becomes a lot more deadly. I would say you should hold window here and wait until you have a little bit more space to do it, because window is not really good at taking a lot of space. Window is good at killing what's already in your space. Right. Honestly, it forces them to rotate back. You honestly could have done that just from your team walking up. And window in this area is going to be a lot stronger because they have nowhere to run. I don't really like using window as a zoning tool in this scenario because it doesn't really do anything, and they're just all going to be able to group back up and hunker down for a little bit, and then they all come out really strong. If anything... window. Dragon needs to come now. Dragon needs to go down here, and it needs to force them up. Because when you're going to dragon, they've already regrouped, and they're all going to jump out as 5 because they're able to. Right? Dragon needs to be now. 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 And it's too late now. They all can get saved. Okay. If that Zen doesn't die there, that would have been not troll. But this is winnable in the situation there. With the dragon earlier, it would have been a little bit of a cleaner fight. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Dragon needs to come out earlier there. If you are already zoning them, do not use it to rezone them, right? You're already zoning them. They're already moving where you want to. Kill them while they're doing it. Don't give them the choice to move again. Right there. You see how effective this... See how effective that is? Lamp, shift, he comes back, he's already back at full health. Alright. Wall of death. Why are you on the left side of the wall? Why are you on the right side of the wall? 2 people on the right side. Uh-oh. 2 people are on the left side. Somebody's out doing some... One person is doing something else. Not good. Nate is too far on the right because he's trying to keep John alive. All the people on the left are no longer able to keep themselves alive because they get sig-ulted. They can't get over there in time to... This could have been a cleaner fight. Scott ends up popping off here. But this could have been cleaner. It could have been faster. Alright, you took it. Where are you going? What's your plan? Are you taking height? Oh, good. Alright. This is fine. Or you should take height, though. Height is really good here because it gives you more choices. Or you want to commit to somewhere and you want to commit to poking it. I am very, very partial to you putting your DPS up here. Or maybe even somebody back here. Because it's very, very safe. Because you have a free angle to shoot down and you can back off. Free angle to shoot down and then you can back off. I'm a big fan of putting people up here, so consider that. Alright, you stabilize, right? Back off, give them, it's whatever. Stabilize. Widow's made an opportunity for you. What really are you going to benefit from this window, right? Where are you really going to be able to do anything with the window? The window here is like, you're very limited to where like, this is the most you can really do with it. Wait until you're around the corner. I'm going to be honest. Or like put it on the cart and let it push around the corner. But it just, you need to, see, now it's useless. Because your team has already walked through the window. This is a good angle to take, Anderson. It's a little bit limiting, but honestly, I don't know where else you're going to go on Widow. Maybe consider a wide here if you get the time to, but... Good focus together. All of you are looking at the same thing, right? I don't want to sound like a squeaky wheel, but look, right? It's fine. It's a little aggressive here. This is very, very nice. Your core is all looking with each other. And you can stay alive. I quite like this. Alright. Oh. Ooh. Everybody in the straight line. Very nice. You can all look at the same thing. Right? Isn't it? It's so much easier when you can all look at the same place.
Score 3-3. Initiating match. Four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming.
Car hold.
payload.
And he beefs it. Good call out on him. Right, because his team is just running away. They're not helping.
30 seconds remaining.
Take the space. Take the space. Take the space. Scott, what does being back here do you? They're all back here. Doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to see them. Scott, if you're going to play far on this map, you need to be up here. Use this natural cover. You need to be up further. This is so nice because the only place you're really going to do a shot at is from up here. And they're not going to keep somebody up there because they have to drop and fight you. You are too far back. Oh, Anderson, my bad. All right, ideal position. John is here. Scott is here. Nate is on cards. Bird people. Right? You're not denying any space right now. You could be denying space. So now they can just walk up and do whatever they want for free. You could have prevented them from being able to walk up here for free. You could have done it. You just needed to be further up. Anderson, I like what you're thinking. It's a good place. But now you're split again. Okay? This is this is the place you need to be, John. This is like the strongest place you are. Scott, you need to be here or here. Nate, same thing with you. Draw.
Ready for battle.
I like the idea. I don't like that you're doing it against them when you know what comp they're going to run. It just kind of isn't going to work. Yeah, I bet you were yelling there. I hate Immortality Field. That's probably what you were saying. If you want to do a close out comp there, honestly, I think you need to play like a Ryan Brawl Cheese or something. I don't really think that the mix there works. Yeah, and now you're down a little bit of ult, but they get all this space for free. Alright, do you see what he's doing here? He's gonna stay in this like general area. Because this is where their core of their team is gonna be. Alright, pause. What is something that they can all do right now? They can all see somebody or they could all shoot somebody. Alright, let's reverse this. Let's take a look at this from the opposite side. What is the issue here? You are clustered in a bad way, right? Anderson's on his own. That's kind of unfortunate. I don't know if I would have done that. You need to be... Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. You need to be playing as a unit here. The safest place where you can be is, I think your supports need to be here and John needs to be here. And then you can put your Hanzo up here as well. Or potentially back here. All right.